Well, hello there guys, and welcome back to another league race in the AOR PC GT3 Elite League on Project Cars. We are back from a little break, no race last week over Christmas, but now we are back with round 6 of 8, so there's only 3 rounds remaining of Season 6. And we are at the Grandmaster of Circuits, the almighty Circuit of Awesomeness. It is the Nordschleife that we're about to embark on a journey in today, and that goes for the 16 drivers that are attending as well. I am Fizzy, and joining me as usual in the commentary box is Yorkie065. Hello!
Hello, welcome guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Happy New Year to you all, everybody on the stream, and Happy New Year to you too, Fizzy.
Thank you.
I know I said it off air, but Happy New Year again. Yes, the Green Hell. Finally.
Yeah. We were here last season, of course, as well. That time it was the first time we were here in the GT3 leagues, and now we're here for a second time in a row, which I guess means that it was a popular venue last season, despite its very many difficulties. There are 154 corners there around here that the drivers have to navigate after all. But it was voted in, actually, I think, in the community vote as one of the top 4 favorite tracks to put on the calendar for this season. So clearly, quite a few drivers did enjoy driving around here, which I understand because, well, I've not done too many races around Nordschleife myself, but I think it's 2 times I've done like a proper long race around here, and both times I've really enjoyed it. I don't know about you.
It's one of my favourite tracks.
Yeah.
I'll probably put it up above Bathurst, so I'm very happy to see that this track is on the calendar, because like you say, it is quite a big challenge, and it separates the men from the boys.
Yeah.
Coming into this braking zone, the Z4 should do well. It's quite a heavy braking zone, and he's just got one more corner to go, and then he'll be setting his first lap, so we'll see what time he does and where he pops up on the leaderboard. 6:33.9.
Straight back to the pits, which is a little bit surprising, isn't it? Surely they'd want to try to get a few more laps in.
If they
on the same run, because now if they're going back out, they're gonna have to do an out lap of 6.5 minutes again.
Yep, but they'll have time to do another flying lap.
Yeah, if they want.
However, I don't think they would have time to do a second afterwards. But at the moment, it's Charf on pole. It
is indeed, I was going to say. Charf and the man on pole at the moment, as 7 drivers have put a lap on the board. So Charf leading the way with a very impressive lap, 1.2 seconds at the moment ahead of Jim Baum in the Ginetta. So the Z4 and the Ginetta, which you pointed out as not having the best straight line speed, they are on the first 2 positions at the moment. But you got to say, around here, it's not as much about the cars as it is about, just doing a good lap and not making any mistakes. But Browner is now coming around to the actual... No, don't spin it there! You got so little left on the lap, my man! You got 1 corner to go. Brandress, luckily, did kind of save it. He must have lost a couple of seconds, though, from that. So we'll see where Brandress puts himself on the board. 6:42.1. 10th, yeah, in the top 10 still ahead of a few people. Just to get the confirmation that he is now indeed starting his final flying lap. Got time for one more, as we've got just under 10 minutes to go in this session. I'm going to go back to Claessen's, because he's the only one with the sector 2 time at the moment, so he's about to complete a lap. He's only 12th at the moment, is Claessen's in the Ginetta, with his 6:46.7. He definitely has the pace to improve on that, knowing him. Despite using or not getting along with the Ginetta too well this season, and he does improve a lot with a 6:37.8 to put him up to 7th position. We are currently watching, though. Mangator is the only man, along with Gibbs actually, who hasn't put a lap in, and this will be important. Mangator, of course, we haven't mentioned it so far, we usually mention it early on the stream, but he is the current championship leader. He's Mangator, leading the way by 13 points over Charf, who is the current pole sitter actually, so that's sort of the 2 championship contenders potentially fighting for pole there, considering we know how fast Mangator is. He's been on pole in every race apart from Imola last time out, where Nova took pole. He's not here today, unfortunately. But Mangator now coming around the final few corners. This will be important. Can he beat Charf's time of a 6:31 lap? Here we go. Mangator, can he take his 5th pole position of the season? He cannot. It's the 3rd. Although he does have time for another attempt, but at the moment he's only third. I say only, just by his standards. And Jim Baum in the Ginetta still holding on to second Yorkie. That is mightily impressive from him.
That is good. Yeah, he's picked up the pace a little bit. Although I think he was one of the ones saying that we said at the end, just before the break, that he's got the pace. He just needs to work on his consistency.
Yeah.
And avoid making as many mistakes. So perhaps that's what he's been working on over the break, and is now seeing himself up at the sharp end of the field, which is fantastic to see. It's always good. Get as many people up there as possible. Oh, Papin's going to be right on the cusp of getting another lap.
Oh, yeah.
I think he will. He will just about be able to get in.
That'd be an interesting one towards the end of the session. Yeah, Papin will start his lap with about 6:38-ish to go. So,
he's got to improve on his time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, otherwise he's not going to make it.
Let's see. I think Charf is coming towards the end of the lap actually, and he does have a second 2 times. So does Jim Baum. See where he is. Yeah, he's just behind him, I think. So Charf will come first to the line. So the top 2 will be setting a new time in the next minute or so. So there's multiple names running down the straight. So at the start of it, it says Dottinger Höhe, and then it says Neue Einfahrt Nordschleife, and then it says Antoniusbuche, and then it says Tiergarten. So I get my German pronunciation under here.
Well, the first part is called Dottinger Höhe.
Yeah.
Is how it is pronounced. I don't know the rest of it, but I like the way that you said the rest. And Sharp improves on his lap time.
He does indeed.
30.4.
Can Jim Baum answer on that challenge? He's gone slightly wide on the final corner, but there we go. He needs to improve on 6:33.1, and he improves by 1/10 to 6:33 flat. Man, he's definitely worked on his consistency then.
Yep, Suomi's next up.
And Nismo not far away there.
Yep, Papin's just going through the carousel, so we got time to get back to him as well. Mangator's still somewhere, I didn't quite see where he was on the quick glance.
Yeah, so we got Suomi now. Only if he wants to go for him. He's currently 4th, of course. The man who won the season opener, but has had some really bad luck since. Can improve. He can up to second. He goes past both Mangator and Jim Baum. And he's 1.2 seconds off, though, the pole that Charf holds at the moment. Let's see who does that was next. Nismo now coming around the final corner. Can he improve from 7th position on the grid? And he cannot. He can improve his time, though, by over a second, but he did not improve his position. Quite unlucky, I guess. He might have been hoping for a better position after improving his lap. Let's see, where is Mangator? I guess... Actually, Papin doesn't have a sector 2 time yet. They're still going. So hopefully that's fine. Yorkie, let's look at Mangator and see if he can challenge the front 3.
Quite possibly. Let's have a look at his sector times. 6:44, that was pretty much bang on with Chaff last time. Not too sure about his sector 2 time though. I think it was quicker than Jim Baum's sector 2 time.
Okay.
So he may potentially move up position.
Here we go.
Oh, not quite improved.
He didn't improve.
Improved the time, but you see how close they are. 100th of a second.
From Jim Baum, that's incredible around this long a lap. Let's go to Jeff, who's on the position behind Papin at the moment. They are running 9th and 10th, though, to the teammates at the moment. So, let's get on pace, slightly off the apex there on the final corner for Jeff, as he's got a car coming to the pit lane. It doesn't matter because he's already across the line, and he does improve. He shoves Papin down, but can Papin shove Jeff back down now, as he's crossing the line just a few seconds after, and he goes 2 seconds to go in the session, and it just improves to 8th position with 1 second remaining. And here we have the scoreboard after a 30-minute qualifying session. Charf on a pole ahead of Suomi over 1.1 seconds, then Jim Baum just ahead of Mangator, the championship leader. Hideaki, Enzo, Nismo, Papin, Claessens and Jeff in the top 10. Vernex, Brandress, Alcon, Dr. Stones, Gibbs and Hetharion will be rounding out the slightly disappointing 16-man grid, but I guess a few drivers are scared about this track, or just busy. So
I imagine busy.
Yeah, you'd hope so. Anyway, just pointing out on that note, the guys that are unfortunately missing today. We got Nova missing, Sula is missing, Mikael is missing, and Perry Gronstra is missing. Curry is missing, and Sluxmick is missing. And unfortunately, bit of a bombshell coming up, guys. Well, a man who's not raced actually since the first round, so compared to the past few rounds, it won't really make that much of a difference. But Kaki, the reigning champion, has officially pulled out of this season due to being too busy with school and things like that. Very unfortunate, of course. We all wanted to come into the season to see what Kaki could do against the new challengers of Charf, of Mangator, of Suomi, and these drivers. But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of real life issues has come in the way of his championship defense. So he did point out that he hopes to be back for next season, but for now we'll have to do the last 3 rounds with no presence of Kaki. And here we go on the grid for the Nordschleife. And don't worry, guys, we won't be doing the full 6-minute lap for the formation lap here. We only do some of the first sector until the formation point and the acceleration zone that Yorki has kindly decided for everyone.
Yep, so I'm guessing you want me to tell you where those points actually are.
That would probably be helpful, yeah.
When we come to them. Okay, so the formation point will be at the bridge just before Flugplatz, and then the acceleration zone is around the first left-handed king just after Flugplatz. So once they go onto the straight, so their first proper corner is going to be the relatively tricky, long, very fast left-hander that kind of goes over the crest. So hopefully we won't see anyone side by side through there. If we do see anybody side by side through there, they are careful enough not to run into each other.
If anyone's side by side, they're dead, basically. And they're all going to blame you for putting the acceleration zone.
Actually, I could blame someone else because someone else suggested it. So, yeah, here is the formation point. You can see the guys starting to form up into that 2x2 formation. They shall climb the hill. They shall go through Flugplatz, and then they should start accelerating towards that. So, Fizzy, you can take the very start.
Okie dokie. So, I've already forgotten where you've said the acceleration zone is, but just I'm sure in a minute, we'll see Charf go, and it's already gone. Charf is underway as the pole sitter for this race around the Nordschleife, and we already have a few side-by-sides behind him. They will hopefully be hoping to fall themselves into one by one as we come to the next corner here over the bumpy section, kind of half-blind crests that they're going over here, and then through the left-hander, and then the first braking zone into the right-hander here, and Charf has gotten away cleanly. Jim Baum and then Mangator side by side with Enzo for 4th place, and he's just pulled ahead. Done well there to keep it clean. And so far, I think I haven't seen an incident, Jorgen.
I have. Gibbs went into the side of Mr. Stones and just pushed each other out wide. Or should I say, Gibbs pushed. Mr. Stones? No, Mr.
Dr. Stones.
Mr. Alcon, sorry.
Oh yeah, Mr. Alcon. Yeah.
Mr. Alcon is who I was thinking of. Yeah, Dr. Stones, however.
I saw a spinner. His name is... Sorry, that is Dr. Stones, isn't it? That just spun it there, yeah. He's on the grass.
Yes, that's a shame because Dr. Stones did capitalise from the contact between Gibbs and Mr. Alcon earlier, and managed to gain himself a couple of places, so that's pretty unfortunate for him to have a spin there, but looks like no contact or damage for him. However, Vernux looks to be pretty slow coming out of that corner, has gone and lost a couple of positions and dropped down from 10th into 12th.
Yeah, and he is right at the back though of Brandress coming down the hill, but just needs a place to pass. Some very high-speed sections going down here. It's not a smart place to try to go for a side-by-side maneuver. So Jeff last at the top 10 at the moment. Clausen's right on the back of Papand in the battle for 8th. Is scrolling up the field. Have we got Enzo, Hideaki and Nismo? Yeah, the 3 teammates in the Team Kappa. are right next to each other in a 5th down to 7th, and then Mangator in a 4th trying to give up with Jim Baum, and then already a little gap having formed from 2nd down to 3rd with Suomi and his teammate C. Charf in the top 2 positions at the moment, and it'll be very interesting to see how the pace difference between these guys and the consistency throughout the race will pan out, because those of you remember back to Bathurst, which is not quite a similar circuit in terms of length, but maybe a similar circuit in terms of at least some of the parts in terms of difficulty. They were very close around that track, so be interesting to see if they're going to be as close around here.
Yeah, definitely. Actually looks like Suomi is getting pretty close to the back of Chaffo, and a little bit of a look coming into the very fast left-hander. However, there is only really one line through there unless you are alongside, because there isn't much of a braking zone. However, coming up here is a little bit of an opportunity as there's a bit more braking to do as they drop down into 2nd gear, which is the hairpin before they get up to the carousel. And that is quite a cool shot, watching the guys come up and approach this, and then seeing the drivers in the background as well. And it looked like Mangator was having a little bit of a look to the inside of Jim Baum coming into carousel, which is a little bit of an interesting place trying to overtake there.
Yeah.
But I think more just presenting himself in the mirrors, trying to put him off than actually trying to make an overtaking manoeuvre.
Yeah, the carousel is obviously a very unique corner in that you got that banking on the inside with a different type of tarmac. And that's the one you want to be on, because that's sort of the preferred line through the corner. And if you try to go too wide there, the other guy has to go on the, the sort of normal tarmac on the outside, which, yeah, it's not preferred. As Charf actually ran slightly on the grass there, that's a very scary thing to do. We don't want to be doing that too often in the race. At the moment though, Suomi, we're about halfway around the lap, even over halfway, and Suomi has done a really good job so far to keep up with the leader.
Yep, well, his qualifying time was pretty quick and pretty close to Chaff's.
1.1 seconds off, but of course that could purely be because of maybe he sort of messed up one out of the 154 corners, and that's purely down to that.
Yeah, just small mistakes can add up around this track now. Obviously, coming through Flat's Garden 1.
Where is Mangator gone? Where's Mangator gone? Oh my god, he's down to 12th. He has had a mistake somewhere. Huge mistake somewhere.
He is right behind the Z4 of Mr. Alcon, I believe that is. So, yeah, he's lost an awful lot of time. I can't see any damage to his car anywhere.
Yep. Same.
No, it looks pretty clean to me. So, he must have just spun in by himself and managed to keep it out of the wall. But obviously, because the guys are so close together at the moment, still on this first lap, he's going to lost a bunch of positions from it, so yeah, costly for him there.
Absolutely important for the championship fight. This, of course, Chaff, the man leading at the moment, is the... Oh my god, the Mercedes as Brandress has lost it on the 2nd carousel. Mangator has slammed straight into the side of him. He had really nowhere to go there, and that, if he didn't have any damage before Mangator, that might just well be some on the front end of his car. Is Vanderstedt off on the next corner, so I think he might be struggling a bit with that damage. That's going to be absolutely a major blow, and it's going very slow onto the back straight here. Brandress is actually catching him up now, and you'd expect him to have some damage to the side of his car as well, Yorkie, and to the front of his car. So, man, those two guys now with damage and really looking almost out of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Both seem to be very slow coming down the straight compared to the rest of the guys. So I imagine they'll be making a pit stop at the end of this lap, and then, well, both will have quite a big recovery drive in order to catch up with the field and see if they can potentially gain some positions later. Obviously, it's still to be seen whether pit stops are actually needed in this race or not. But yep, both of them pulling off into the pits now.
Yep.
And also Vernox ahead, also pulled into the pits.
And Dr. Stone's behind. So we got four cars with damage after the first lap here.
Oh!
What?
Oh! Blimey. Brandress' teammate Hathorion has had a spin and basically he spun and then it was like parked across the middle of the track, and Gibbs just came around the corner. Fortunately, he was able to see it and slowed down enough to go around him, but he had to take to the grass and he picked up a slowdown penalty. But there was almost another crash between those drivers there. Hathorion has now managed to get going. I don't know if he has made it contact with the wall or not, but he's got a long way to go as he's only just started his second lap.
Man, so far this race, the story really has been a bunch of sideways Mercedes cars that is causing, or at least had nearly caused some issues for Gibbs, and Brandress did cause some issues for Mangator, was very unlucky there. Obviously, we think it was self-inflicted, Mangator dropping down to 12th all of a sudden, although we didn't catch it on camera, but it didn't have any damage from that, but of course then it got really unlucky with finding Brandress just on his line through the second carousel. And he's had to go into the pits, and of course this is important for the championship, mainly because this man, Charf, is leading. He came into this race 13 points behind Mangator, been trailing him all season long, and now this could be the big shift that he's waited for, if he can just bring this home for the final 7 laps of the race. It's only an 8-lap race, worth pointing out, but of course around the track like this, that will be still a very long race. Not quite as long as normal though, just because we had that extended qualifying session, so we're taking some time off the race distance to sort of compensate to make the overall event time about the same as usual.
And then James PC3 has said that Mangator needs about 7 seconds a lap in order to try and close the gap back up to the guys who's doing. What's going on? Oh,
I am seeing Jeff having a bit of a mare through some kind of corner. Yeah, he just spun it and did have a slight contact with the wall as well. If the camera changes to the outside shot, maybe I can have a look. And
yeah, tiny bit, front right.
Tiny bit. But shouldn't be too bad for him, hopefully. Mr. Alcon was the man who moved up to 9th as a result of that. So really, everyone from 9th down, as we got Papan going past Claessens all of a sudden. I was lucky that I caught that on camera. Claessens was going slow. He must have had a mistake on the previous corner, or maybe recovering from
a track penalty.
Or a cut track penalty, yeah, maybe. So they're going through the carousel now. Claessens having dropped behind Papan. Doing the carousel nicely, as you like. So Hideaki and Nismo sort of battling here. 2 of the teammates there. That is for 5th position. And so yeah, Xiaomi has dropped from, was he 3rd, wasn't he?
Come on, get the thing fired up.
Don't have any
cameras!
cameras!
Like, yeah, you need to jump on board with him to pick him up. He's currently just sat there. It doesn't sound like his engine is running though.
Oh god.
So
he's
flashing the brake lights. Yeah, he's obviously stalled the car. Oh, Gibbs has run out a little bit wide there, coming through the mini carousel.
This is painful. This is painful!
Go on, Xiaomi.
And also, why? Wait. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so Suomi was the man, of course, closest to the leader of the race. Him and Schaaf were the sort of pace setters, and now he's just sitting here, having a cup of coffee. And he's just about... There we go, he's now officially last out of the drivers in the race. So definitely some... I don't know. Is he struggling to get the engine back on, or is he having some equipment issues, maybe?
I'm not too sure. I'm seeing the brake lights flash every now and then, so... something is responding in that sense, but I can't tell whether he's able to turn the wheel or whether he's just struggling to get the thing fired up. But that is a shame to see how Suomi have spun, and Jeff is in the pits to repair his damage.
It's good to know. So at the end of the 2nd lap of the race, Jeff is, I believe, the 5th man to get himself some repairs in the pits. So Jeff dropping to 12th as a result of that, behind the 2 Mercedes cars. As we got Gibbs on the grass, as I just jumped on board with him there, or onto his camera, and he managed to recover though without damage. He's gonna drop a bit of time to Brandress from that, but still running in 9th. Mr. Alcon now in 8th. Oh, and it's a battle still for 6th now. There was previously, of course, for 7th before Suomi had his issue. And yeah, that is Claessens right on the back of Papan, which I think at the moment is the only super close battle on the track.
Yes. The battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th isn't too big. There's a couple of seconds between each of the drivers, and yeah, Hideaki's not too far behind, but yeah, Claessens and Papan, as I said, Fizzy is the closest battle of the 2. As they go past the rather distinct tree, on the left-hand side, and they flick the cars in. Clausen's on a pad as well?
I'm pretty sure he is not. I think we would have known by now if he was.
Yeah, it just let the way he flipped the car in to the left-hander there seemed quite aggressive, but that could be just him turning the wheel relatively aggressively in the front end, washing out a little bit behind the roof. That and its dirty air coming through this section, and Dinderes pointing out in the chat that the Ginetta is pretty good around this track, as Jim Baum is proving, as he's currently up in second at the moment.
It's good to have a track. Oh my God, Klaus is getting so close to the wall with a twitch there as well. Yeah, you're right. He does seem to be quite twitchy actually at the moment. But so far he's doing well. He's one of the 7 drivers so far this race who hasn't had a spin or a chip through the pit lane, or both. So the top 7 still running well, as Klaus is now losing the back end again, and he's dropped a little bit of time to Papand in that sort of section of the track because of that. So we're going to jump up to see Nismo's sort of by himself, then Hideaki in 4th. And Enzo is not far behind Jim Baum actually. That's only about a second between those two. Nice battle for second place. So Jim Baum, of course, having been promoted from Suomi's issues. Let's have a look. So yeah, Suomi is officially out of the lobby as well.
Oh,
It's a shame.
that does suck.
Yeah. So Suomi's season has gone from bad to worse, of course. He came over as the reigning champion from the Xbox Elite League from last season. He won the season opener, got his season off to an absolute bang, super impressive performance at Spa, and then followed that up with a solid 3rd place at Bathurst as well. After that, though, he had the issue with the ghost car at the start of Road America, which ended his race on lap 1. And then he had to pull off at the start at Alton Park because he was feeling ill and had to run to the toilet. And then also illness is what kept him out last time, and then now this. So can this man get a break? It's sort of heartbreaking to see such a fast driver go through these sort of things. I think I'm going to stay on board with this battle for a bit just because they are so close. I don't want to miss one of what could be very few proper overtakes around here just because of the nature of the track. But at the moment, certainly Klaasen's putting a lot of pressure on Papan.
Yep. I'll just quickly jump back up to Enzo as well to see if he's picking up any kind of slipstream off Jim Baum, and doesn't really seem like he's picking up much at the moment. He could be starting to now though, although that could just be just the camera angle. And then the braking zone, maybe. Yeah, he has been closing up a little bit, not by a huge amount, but he's closing up a fair bit more in the braking zone there. Seemed to be much later on the brakes. I was able to still get the car slowed down. So now battle for second is certainly heating up, and that would be one to keep an eye on. Parsons at the moment is still following Papan as they come into the final chicane, but Papan goes a little bit deep. That's going to cost him.
That's what I've been watching, and the Ginetta straight line speed is certainly not helping Klaasen at all. Throughout the whole back straight there, he was in the slipstream, but he wasn't getting it all. So that must have been a little bit frustrating. He was probably maybe thinking throughout that lap, well, I'll try to be close to him here, and maybe I'll get a chance on the straight, but Ginetta said no.
Yeah, the roof is pretty good in a straight line as well. It's one of those annoying jack of all trade kind of cars. The class has gone and spin.
Oh no!
In the background there, he is now continuing back on, but he may have a little bit of damage to the front right of his car. Couldn't quite see because of that angle there. Can't tell from that one either.
Too much. Hasn't lost too much time, and I can't see any clear damage at least, so hopefully that is the case and he can try to catch Papan back up. And actually I noticed earlier as well that Gibbs was close to Jeff, and Jeff has now gone past Gibbs, so that has been an overtake there. Jeff moving up ahead of Gibbs, and Mangator coming not far behind. He's now up to 11th place. Nismo's had an issue. He's 13th. I'm not sure we picked up on this. He's got massive damage on the front of his car. He might have been through the pits since then, but...
Yep, I imagine he must have.
Okay, so Browski, who is sort of our inside information man at the moment, and also part-time calculator, he has pointed out that Gibbs had a spin, and Jeff just about avoided him. Apparently that's how he got past him. And he's also wondering whether Nismo pitted, which I'm pretty sure has been the case, given how far down he's dropped. 22 seconds now-ish between 7th and where Mangator is. And as I've been talking, Mangator has indeed made the overtake on Jeff. Wait, where did Jeff come from? Why is Jeff here?
Jeff had spun earlier. No.
Well, did he do that just now? Because he was ahead of Gibbs and now he isn't.
No, he had the. Jeff made a pit stop, didn't he? So he had a little bit of damage from the spin a lap or two ago.
Just a few minutes ago, he was ahead of Gibbs, and now he's behind both him and Mangator. So I might have been completely stupid or I missed something that I actually saw. But either way, Gibbs is going wide! Oh my god! And Jeff's gone past again. So Gibbs has absolutely gone spinning, doing some donuts with the wall. And that surely is some damage for him, but at least he's carrying on. Hasn't been passed by everyone.
Claessens has dropped down into 8th. Mr. Alcon
and he's pitting.
Claessens pitted. So he's had a spin and sustained some damage.
That's going to help Mangator, who's now coming past the pit lane in a second.
Yes, depends how quickly Claessens does his pit stop.
Brandress must have had an issue because he was the man in 8th ahead of Mangator, and he's now in 11th. So Mangator's now been promoted to 7th as a result of just something that has happened to everyone else. So at the moment, the point situation then, as thanks to Browski for this, the Charf, if it finishes like this with Charf winning the race and Mangator in 7th, I mean Charf will be taking over the championship lead with 190 points, and Mangator will be on 184, which puts it back in Mangator's hands in the sense that if he wins the last 2 races, he wins the championship regardless of what Charf does. Because then he will close that 6-point gap regardless. So, still a decent position for him to be in, but of course, I'm sure he would have rather having come out of this race still in the championship lead, considering how we came in.
I think the battle between Mr. Alcon and Mangator is lining up next. Yeah, they seem to be slightly closer together than
a lot closer together than they were previously. Mangator has closed over 10 seconds in the last 2 laps, I think.
Just under 9.9
Actually,
seconds.
wow, in the last lap he closed... Yeah, in the last lap he closed 9.9. Jesus Christ! But that just tells the story, though, that Mr. Alcon has done a really good job this race to keep out of trouble and be consistent, because he might not have the pace of people like Mangator, but he's still in 6th by virtue of, not messing up. Is a potential overtake. This is, of course, going to help Mangator a lot in the championship. He's going to gain another 2 championship points if he makes this move, I believe, if I know the point system correctly, which I might not. But he's got a big straight coming up. He might even want to try to get a move done even before the back straight. He's really, really hassling the back of Mr. Alcon now, and it's important for Mr. Alcon to just not think too much about Mangator. He probably knows that he is, well, he definitely knows that Mangator is faster because he's closed him in so fast this last lap. But he can't afford to let that put him off. He just needs to do his thing, and it's Mangator's job to get past him, not his job to get out of the way. So Mr. Alcon just has to keep focusing on the corners, focusing on remembering where on the track he is, in order to not mess anything up, as he's done so well all the race so far. At the moment, Mangator isn't making too much inroads after actually catching up to him. So maybe Mangator is realizing as well, though, that the gap ahead of Alcon is quite massive, nearly half a minute from Mr. Alcon in 6th to Papan in 5th. So Mangator probably realizing that there's no real rush here. He just needs to get past Mr. Alcon somehow in the next 2 and a bit laps, and then he'll have the 6th place, which probably is the best he can get at the moment.
Yep, Mangator being very patient through that section. It was right up behind Mr. Alcon coming out of the carousel, but there's pretty much no way through right up until near enough this right-hander that they're coming up to, but even then there's not really much point, as you might as well just hold
Oh,
up
no!
the start finish straight as Mr. Alcon has got to make contact with the wall, gone deep, and has had to concede the position. That is unfortunate. We were hoping that Mr. Alcon was going to hold out at least till the start finish straight, although Mr. Mangator was a little bit slow coming out the exit of the mini carousel there, but yeah, Mangator was relatively wise earlier on and backed off of Mr. Alcon to basically flow through that section. But that is very unfortunate for Mr. Alcon, and I think he's not quite got the straight line speed to keep up with Mangator here. Papan and Hideaki have switched. I just seen Browski say, quote Hideaki saying he hasn't got much to fight Papan, as Hideaki's got damage, and then yeah, jump to the 2, and they've traded positions.
Okay, so in that case, I assume Hideaki's just let him go quite easily then.
Yeah.
So maybe we didn't miss too much after all, if that is the case.
Slowed him down too much.
Oh, I thought he was going to lose it.
Same, I saw the pasta smoke as well. But he manages to keep the car pointing in the right direction, so I think there may have been a little bit more server lag than actual car sliding. Yeah, that battle for 11th seat's relatively close. Mangator took 6 seconds out of Hideaki on the previous lap, so at the moment that is not enough.
Not the 15 that
for what he needs. No, not even halfway. Jeff and Nismo have swapped positions. If I remember correctly, Jeff was ahead of Nismo.
I was just on board with him 30 seconds ago. What happened? Why do you do this now? God. Yeah, I was going down the back straight on the previous lap, which is like less than a minute ago, and at that point, Nismo was behind by 2 seconds or so. So yeah, definite mistake there. That surely hasn't been a proper overtake, because Jeff wouldn't have lost 3 seconds all of a sudden. So yeah, Jeff with a slight error somewhere, I would have thought. Still running with a very clean car though, compared to many of the other guys. Can't see any major damage to Jeff's roof there. So let's see what Scharf is actually. Sort of predict how much of the race we have to go, and he not
gone past the famous bit.
Yeah, past the famous bit.
I did look up the actual name of it, but I've forgotten now already. But he's now going into Flatsgarten. Flatsgarten 1, he's just gone through, and then the second drop is Flatsgarten 2.
Flappy Garden.
Flatsgarten.
There it is, yeah, on my track map. So Sprunghugel is the next one. Then we got Stefan Belloff S. And then I guess he will now be coming into the Schwalbenschwanz. And then the Kleines Karussell, which is the second of the carousel. Which I think, if my German is good enough, Kleines Karussell means the small carousel.
That is correct.
Yes. And then into the Galgenkopf, which leads on to the big straight for Scharf. So he's only got that and the final few corners to go before he's a race winner around the Nordschleife. Worth pointing out that the race here last season was won by Perry Granstra, the man who also took the fastest lap. And that race time was 53 minutes 54 seconds. Unfortunately, since I'm lobby host here and I'm spectating, we're not actually going to get the final scoreboard to get a proper race time for the winner. But we weren't getting that in the stream anyway, so we'll just have to speculate as to whether or not he managed to beat that. But considering his pace and his fastest lap being 3 seconds faster than what Grandstrad had last season, I am predicting that he will have beaten that race time from season 5. And Scharf now coming through the final few corners to take the win for round 6 of season. Round 6 of season 6 at the Nordschleife in the PC GT3 Elite League on Project Cars. Blinking the lights, very good drive from Scharf to take the championship lead as well, with the Mangator down in 6th place. Jim Baum now coming around the final few corners as well. He will take 2nd. Fantastic job for him, his first podium in this league. Really good job, and you can see he's happy with that one as well. Enzo tried to close the gap for much of the race, couldn't quite do it, and dropped a bit back in the end. He is on the podium still though, and a very good result also for him. Papand and Hideaki will be the next guys to cross the line. Mangator just starting the thing, and while Scharf is crossed the line, we have had the overtake with Brandress going ahead of Vernix for 11th, so 2 further points for him, Yorkie. And man, it was... What would we say about this race? It's been a classic Nordschleife race, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, more battle of the track rather than battle against the other drivers.
Yeah.
Just watching Papan coming across the line at the moment to finish, race to come home in 4th position, which is pretty good for him. And Hideaki giving a little wiggle over the line as well. Yep, and there's Mangator, and then just watching Nismo. Yeah, he's. Unless Mr. Alcon has a massive moment coming into the basically the final few corners, I don't think Nismo's going to be close enough in order to take that 7th position away. So that one pretty much looks to be dead set. Yeah, so Manga has just gone across the line. Mr. Alcon will be next.
Seems everything is basically sorted out at the moment, unless someone makes a mistake here in the final few corners.
Which he does not. It does not do a khaki coming out the final corner, and he comes across the line for his best result, I believe, in the league.
Quick check, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, Mr. Alcon, his best previous result was 12th, so he's improved that by 5 positions here, by virtue of not crashing, at least not crashing too much. He had a slight brush with the wall, but nothing too major. Nismo comes on behind him in 8th, Jeff in 9th. Then Dr. Stones will be next.
Brandress is not too far behind.
Ooh.
But I don't think...
The Mercedes SLS might be fast in a straight line, but I don't think it's that fast.
No, I was going to say, I think it's a little bit too far back to close that gap up between those two drivers and take that final top 10 position away.
Yep.
Through the penultimate turn.
I heard a crash.
Brandress has one last scrape with the ball. He's managed to get that going right. So Dr. Stones has just crossed his start-finish line now to come home in 10th. Andrus managing to cross the wall one last time in the last 3 turns and gets his car back across the line to take hold of 11th ahead of Vernox in 12th.
Either way, Hetharion is about to come home as a final finisher, and to be honest, 13 drivers finishing out of the 16 that started is not too bad, to be honest. Obviously, quite a few of them having some dramas with the walls along the way, and Hetharion quite far back in there, but props for finishing the race and scoring some points then, as a result. So everyone who finished the race scored points, and even though some of them had more issues than I would have wanted throughout, it's still pretty solid accomplishment just to finish the race around the tracks like this. As we have got only 2 rounds to go in the season. The first, and it's only Brandstad and Oschersleben remaining, where, of course, the main focus will be on the championship battle, where Charf is leading Mangator by 3 points. With 2 rounds to go, it's going to be very exciting to see which of those two comes out on top. So, guys, I'm going to end the stream there. So thank you very much to those guys who are still watching. I mean, thanks to everyone who was watching previously as well, but to those 12 of you who are actually still here after all this time. I'm sure we've streamed for basically 2 hours now. Well done to you, and thanks for joining in, and we will see you hopefully next week at Brands. And thanks to you as well, Yorkie.
Yeah, thank you very much. Not a problem. Enjoy.
Okay. We will see you next week. Until then, have a good time, and good night.